Happy Monday night. We are at the CREvolve. I feel like it's been forever since we've all come together. Let's do a quick round of introductions. We got finally a guest. I'm so excited. I'm Bucky Beeman, commercial real estate agent, Rochester, Minnesota. I love using social in my business. Who else is on the Google Hangout tonight?
Hi, I'm Julie Augustin, and I'm with Founder Commercial out of our Raleigh office.
I'm Rivers Evans. I'm with ERC Commercial in Charleston, South Carolina.
And I'm Poonam Mathis. I'm with StealthForce, based out of New York City.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Poonam. It's my first time really getting to know more about StealthForce. Rivers has informed me a little bit, so I'm excited to hear more. We like to start off our show with what we're seeing in the CRE wild. So what are you seeing out there in this hashtag CRE world, CRE tech world? I know all of us have been paying attention to certain things out there, besides the election, of course. What are you seeing in the CRE wild? We'll start with you, Poonam.
Well, I think it's a timely question because I just came off Dallas Disrupt CRE, which was a great event last week, and have attended a couple of the other Disrupts and CRE Techs over the last couple of months. What I'm seeing in the wild is just a real focus on collaboration coming from all angles. So, for example, at the conferences, there were a lot of people in the tech community specifically representing large companies like JLL or Heinz or what have you, going that extra step to try to figure out what it is they need to do within their organizations to promote and then implement and then follow up on the adoption of commercial real estate technologies, which is really promising. Awesome.
Julie, what are you seeing?
Yeah, also very timely as far as the election. I got to address Duke Long. He posted this last week, calling out all the ladies. As far as I'm not sure if you saw that, Poonam.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, and it was the night before the election that he posted this, and it was just the timing was bad in my opinion. But who knew? No one knew. But it really made me think, and we had already scheduled for Poonam to be on our show, and it really did make me think of knowing I can do more as well, to just, rather than just pointing out that there's 30 men on a panel when there's plenty of women in our industry, actually speaking out and having Poonam join our show, speak on more panels and being more involved as well. I just joined CREW. Just applied to join CREW. I don't know why I haven't over all these years, but finally did apply. And I'm just going to, really work to try to be more visible. And I think this show's a great platform as well.
Rivers, what you got? What are you seeing in the wild out there?
Well, I'm pretty excited. Coming up in a few weeks, I've got Real Massive coming to Charleston, South Carolina. They're going to be opening up into this market. So Mike Westgate, Mark Daniel, they're flying down here. They're going to have lunch with several brokers from different influential firms in town, and we're going to be sitting down and learning more about the digital marketplace.
Great. And then we've got Mike on our show next week.
That's great timing.
Yeah.
And what I am seeing out there, I actually had the opportunity, which is cool, meet with the CRE tech company, CREvolve. The CEO came to Rochester and dropped me a line, so we met up. And I got to look into his business model a little bit more. And they have an area, I'll probably call it wrong, but hot deals, which basically is recognizing smaller lease opportunities within their website, which they didn't necessarily recognize before. And I think that's cool to see the CRE tech companies that are helping even the smaller transactions that occur in our ecosystem. So that was neat to meet with him. Let's get into more about StealthForce and more about Poonam. Tell us about what makes StealthForce so interesting and how you're involved in the CRE tech world.
Well, thank you for asking. What I think makes StealthForce interesting is that we are hyper-specialized exclusively in real estate. So essentially, StealthForce is the gig economy of real estate. What that means is if you've heard of Uber, if you've heard of or used something like TaskRabbit or Upwork or Elance, then you're quite familiar with our business model. Essentially, we're a global real estate consulting network driven by technology. We match real estate consultants around the world with employers looking to hire them by the project, and we earn a piece of each engagement. So it's free for clients to join. Clients range from small real estate developers who might need a financial analyst to run their numbers but not want to hire them full-time, all the way through to developers, lenders, family offices, and even multinational investment firms, all of whom are looking to scale talent according to their deal flow.
That's awesome. And what are you seeing as far as the biggest opportunity related to that arena? Personally, I wouldn't imagine it's the large firms that are looking to hire that great talent. It's probably the smaller outfits. Am I right in that nature? Where are you seeing the most opportunity?
Well, I'll say it's early days, right? So we launched in the first quarter of this year. So we're still figuring out where the largest pool of demand is going to be. In terms of the amount of projects that we're seeing, you're correct in assuming that it's the smaller guys or the guys that can use a commoditized consulting solution. So an example would be a mid-sized real estate development firm that could use financial modeling talent kind of by the half day or by the hour or by the project, right? But what we are seeing is guys at the other end of the spectrum. I was speaking with Morgan Stanley today about ways that we can provide solutions that, to your earlier point, address smaller commoditized needs that they might have. So the individual project size may be smaller, but there's volume in that, and that's what's going to help businesses like ours really get off the ground.
That's awesome. Well, I got a million questions, but I don't want to be the only person asking questions. Rivers and Julie, what do you have?
Yeah, sure. So just from my previous life at Office Depot, I can see the applications for corporate real estate on that end of, to send one of our directors at the time at Office Depot out to Hawaii as an example. It's a huge expense. And so are you seeing a solution from that standpoint too, as far as from different locations?
Yes, I think so. And it's interesting that you point that out, because when you think about corporate real estate, you're dealing with entities that have a certain amount of scale, right? They're massive. Right. Generally, if they are in the business of real estate investment, then they have the principal real estate investment team, and they also have the corporate real estate group that kind of handles facility management. What I am finding is that the corporate real estate teams are more creative about ways that they can use this solution. Mm-hmm. And it's because they're practical. They're thinking, hey, if we are corporate real estate and we have to do sort of portfolio optimization across the country, the amount of man hours it costs us to put people on a plane across the country, at some point there's a cost-benefit analysis where it doesn't make sense anymore. But similarly, the corporate real estate teams are the ones that start to open up the conversations with, for example, a travel team within a Morgan Stanley, which has to do site surveys of hotels across the country. Mm-hmm. And what it costs them to put their people on a plane to go do site surveys for every hotel in the country that Morgan Stanley employees will stay at, for example, ends up being somewhat prohibitive, right? So it's just another place for them to optimize with regards to real estate talent.
What do you got, Rivers?
Off the bat, I mean, what's the most tangible benefit that you can offer a developer or a smaller client right now?
I think the most tangible benefit that we can offer right now is really precision. When you look at what this typical small developer is doing, small investors, small developers doing 2 or 3 deals a year. They're using friends and family money. They have a lender that they trust, and they're generally doing deals in one very specific region. So a lot of them operate on the assumption that they have all the third parties they need. Maybe they have the appraiser that they like. Maybe they have the accountant. Maybe they have the general contractor. Maybe they even have the zoning attorney. But every small developer and every small investor is trying to get up to the next level. And what that means is getting a little bit more institutional at every step. So one of the things we can offer them, that's a long-winded way of saying, what we can offer them is access to a level of precision in their talent that they cannot afford to hire full-time. If that small developer wants to hire someone, ideally who is working at Tishman or BlackRock right now to run their numbers, there's no other efficient place for them to find them other than our platform.
And how has it been starting a CRE tech company in this day and age? I don't know too many people that have done it, so that's why I asked the question. Well received, difficult? Share a little bit more about that story.
Can I answer with really, really fun? Is that?
Yeah.
I mean, overall, just fantastic. Personally, this came out of my personal experience. I spent about 15 years in real estate. So I was in real estate development for quite a while, and then I was in real estate private equity for a while, and that's a very different universe. And in my last role, I was the second most senior person in the real estate asset management team, which was handling portfolios across the capital stack and around the globe. It was a very different environment. So leaving to become an entrepreneur at all is a big jump. Leading to do it in commercial real estate, I have to say, going back to Julie's earlier comment, even though I am a woman, I think the fact that I am rare in doing this has actually given me a leg up. I think it means people take the call. I think it means they listen a little bit more closely. It's been my experience that people want you to convince them that you have a solution. Because I think maybe I'm self-selecting, right? Maybe the group of people that I've been reaching out to and that my team has been reaching out to have been more willing to hear it. But what I think is that people in the real estate industry, even though it's constantly being bashed as really, really slow to move, people in the industry understand something's about to change. They don't quite know how to get their hands around it. And they're hoping to find out about a solution that just makes perfect sense to them. So it's almost like once we're connected to them, they're saying, give me a reason, convince me. It hasn't all been wine and roses, but I do feel that sense.
I gotta say, I wasn't expecting you to say fun, so that's, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Right now, from a network standpoint, a lot of us use LinkedIn. Are you using that within your platform at all? I think back to when I first started using LinkedIn, I was accepting everyone's invitations to connect. And I kind of going back, I wish I didn't, because people reach out and say, hey, do you know so-and-so to refer me to? And I'm like, actually, I don't. And so now I'm more selective, but I've have a lot of people that I just really haven't met face to face. So I'm just curious, as far as, are you building kind of a referral network within your platform also?
With regards to LinkedIn or generally?
Oh, just generally, as far as if you have any connection to LinkedIn already, or if that's part of it.
We don't have a formal professional connection to LinkedIn. Obviously, I'm just a member of LinkedIn, and I'm a big fan of it. I think it did a lot of very interesting things for the industry. Our solution is, it's not a version 2.0 of LinkedIn, but on some level, it's kind of, if LinkedIn hadn't existed, this would have been sort of a LinkedIn for real estate with much more applications, if you will. And I don't know if that answers your question about, but generally that's my thoughts on LinkedIn. But I will say that we are in the process of launching a more robust referral program, but we do have one in place right now. And we're finding varying levels of success. It seems like whomever touches real estate investors is a good potential referral partner for us. So real estate brokers who may have clients that could use value-added services and trust them enough to say, hey, where can I find this, could be good referral partners. Similarly, people in title, CPAs, real estate attorneys, these can all be very good referral partners for us because they see where people are having pain points.
Okay.
Awesome. And I know Rivers has said that we have to be strict on our timeline. So how are we doing, Rivers, on our time? Are we getting close?
I think we got a couple minutes. I think we can start to wrap it up and maybe have one more question.
All right. I guess one question I would have is, real quickly, can you say the different silos of services you provide? So what's the range of services you can provide a small developer, or any size developer for that matter?
Well, we're not limited to developers. In terms of the buckets of our clients, they're small investors, developers, lenders, and global companies, including corporate real estate teams. The general buckets that our services fall into are, number one, consultants by the hour or by the half day, and number two, project to permanent test drives. This is a situation where generally a mid-size or a larger firm is looking for full-time hires, but they're having trouble with turnover, or they just generally want to avoid having trouble with turnover. So they can hire a consultant through our platform, have them do 1 or 2 projects, and have the option to hire them full-time without the commitment to do so. Those are offering types. And in terms of project categories, we do everything from property level, construction, property management, development management, through to acquisitions, asset management, and securities analysis.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. I know it's 7:30 here in Minnesota, and it's not always easy to get everybody on a call, so we definitely appreciate you setting time aside, and I look forward to meeting you in person. I'm jealous that the other 2 have met you in person. So the next Tech Intersect event, have to make it a point to be there.
Got to be there.
Looking forward to it, and thank you all for making the time.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone.